Relaxed Dog Podcast. The podcast where the dogs are the stars of the show. Hi there to everyone. This is the Relaxed Dog Podcast, and I am joined by my friend Teddy. And today we'll be talking about Dolly. So, Teddy, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
So, now go back in time a little bit to why did you decide to get Dolly?
Well, we'd wanted a dog for quite a long time. I hadn't had a dog since I was a child, and my husband had never had a dog, but it just hadn't been the right time, and finally it was. I think we'd fostered a few dogs, and I knew I wanted a Labrador. I had a Labrador growing up, and I just had a natural affinity with Labradors, and I'd been sort of looking online and in groups, and I just saw this ad on a Facebook group one day that had this picture of a really gorgeous lab sitting in that kind of lab pose with their legs out to one side, leaning against something, and I said, that is the dog. And I replied to the ad straight away, and I rang my husband and said, I found a dog, and it's in Nowra. Now, Nowra is only a couple of hours away from where we lived at the time in Camden, and the people responded straight away and said, asked lots of questions, got lots of photos of our property, and were very interested in us adopting Dolly. It wasn't till my husband was due to go and pick her up the next day that we actually found out Dolly was in Cowra. Cowra was 5 hours from where we lived. Nowra was 2 hours. Needless to say, my husband wasn't very impressed, but that was how we ended up with Dolly.
And how old was Dolly when you got her?
Dolly was 11 months old. She'd been living at the house with no steps in Cowra, and I think they'd got her, I think she was backyard bred, and they just got her thinking she'd grow up to be a therapy dog, not realising how much effort and time was put into therapy dogs. Mm-hmm. And having about 24 staff members as her owners, all having different expectations, things got a little chaotic by the time she was 11 months old, and they realised it hadn't really worked. But she pretty much, at 11 months old, settled into our place immediately, and we really had no problems with her.
Oh, that's nice. I was going to ask how she sort of integrated to coming from a place with so many people and so many sort of like a sort of how many owners around to a normal household. Just
so easily. I mean, the previous owners were excellent, gave us lots of information. They even sent her with her own care plan because all their clients that lived there had care plans, and Dolly had a care plan too. So nice. There was lots of information about it. I mean, they were responsible owners. She'd been de-sexed. You know, she was fully vaccinated, had everything she needed, and so that was, very helpful. And they were just so positive about everything. I mean, she'd never been around a cat, but they were certain she'd be fine, as we had a cat, which she was. She was excitable, but around home she just had a really relaxed temperament, and she just fitted into our lifestyle immediately. I think it was just too confusing for her, having the constant staff changes and things like that. So yeah, she just settled so easily.
Okay. So you mentioned a cat. Was there any other pets that she had to sort of like get used to when she moved in with you?
No, we just had an old cat called Barney at the time, and it was us and our son. And she wanted to be friends with the cat straight away. The cat not so much, but eventually they did end up being friends.
Were you still fostering dogs during Dolly's early age?
I didn't foster for a while, but then I ended up fostering Labradors later on, and every lab that came into our property, she spent about 24 hours humping, and then after that, she was friendly, she just had to hump them, and after that, she would then basically teach them. She did all the work, so most of them came, they never knew how to play or interact, and she would teach them how to play. It was quite amazing to watch. I think a lot of them had spent their whole life outdoors in a backyard, hadn't been interacted with, and she would put the toy in their mouth and they would drop it, and she would pick up the toy and put it in their mouth again. And by the time they were ready to move on to the new home, they knew how to play, they knew how to chase. It was amazing, the change that she made. And we would always crate train all the fosters because she was crate trained too. So often first night they'd be very barky and unsettled, but they'd go in their crate for the first night and she'd be in the crate next to them. So I feel like she did all the work, to be honest. She would have to sleep next to an unsettled dog. She would have to teach them to play. She taught them the rules. She was so good.
Okay. And from the sounds of it, Dolly's inside dog?
Yes. She only goes outside if we go outside, or if she goes out on an excursion, or if she needs to go to the toilet, pretty much.
Nice. So any like puppy adventures that you could recall?
I remember her first beach excursion was only a couple of weeks after we got her. She'd never been to the beach, I don't believe, and we had no idea how she'd go with water. We got to a dog-friendly beach in Wollongong and just let her go, and she ran straight into the water, really, really deep, and just swam straight away. So it was just instinctive, and she's a really good swimmer. So she just naturally knew what to do, and she's always been a good swimmer. I'm
guessing there's not a lot of surf out at Cowra.
No, I don't think they really took her anywhere much because they said she was crazy in the car too, but we've never really had a problem with her. I don't think she had a lot of walks or car drives and things like that because they got medication for her to have her drive back to Camden, and actually she was fine. So I think it was just lack of experience. So she went great in the water, and that was the first big experience I remember her having. So it was quite exciting taking her to the dog park for the first time and taking her to the beach, and she's a Labrador. She just embraced life. I remember the first day. We had her for like 3 days. I think it was a long weekend maybe, and we had her for 3 days, and then we both had to go off to work because we both worked outside of home then. And I remember being so nervous because back then I didn't have a dog door. I would have the pets outside when I went to work and inside when I got home and overnight. So we would lock them out. It never occurred to me that you could leave a door open or get a dog door and that your dog would be okay. And so we locked her out and went to work and came home, and she was fine. She just took everything in her stride. I mean, she was absolutely fine. So she was just so easy.
Oh, nice. So no destruction or anything like that?
No, the only time she was destructive was when she had a foster dog with her. So when there was a foster dog, she liked to show them how well she could dig. She never dug when she was on her own. She only ever dug when there was another dog.
That's part of the dog-to-dog training.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, nice. And so Dolly's moved around with you to a couple of places?
Yes, so we lived in Harrington Park in Camden, and then we moved out to the Central Coast in Basho Bay, and recently we lost our home in a natural disaster, so we've just had to move again just down the road to Long Jetty, and she's coped with all the moves really, really well. We've also taken her on holidays in the past, dog-friendly accommodation, and she just loves change. She loves going on holiday. She's like a 3-year-old child. She runs around the house exploring all the rooms, and she seems to be quite resilient. She copes with all our moves. I think if she's just with us, she's fine. And in fact, slightly different from moves, but kind of the same subject, we go away as well and leave our dog/dogs at home and have people come in and feed them, and they're fine at home on their own. So we've always kind of raised our pets to be resilient, I guess, and comfortable in their own space. So as long as they're in a place that has their things and their belongings and they can be inside, they're happy.
And how old is Dolly now?
She's 8, turning 9 in August.
And still all really good health and full of vitality?
Excellent health. We have been told by a couple of vets that she may potentially have some back problems later on, but so far so good.
Does Dolly do some of the therapy stuff with you?
She's registered for pet therapy, but when we were in Camden, we did a few things with her. Since we've been on the Central Coast, we haven't, because I haven't found the right fit for her. There's a lot of right fits for my other dog, but for Dolly, she's not really very calm. So the kind of things that she suited back in Camden were like the HSC visits and the library visits when students were studying for HSC, etc. She needs to be on the go, moving from person to person, not just sitting around. And she wouldn't cope so well with people with additional needs, whereas my other dogs cope very well with that. So we haven't done anything with her up here so far. Not to say we won't, but it's really important, as you would understand, that they have the right fit. And she's just not quite as flexible as my other dogs.
Has Dolly got a favourite spot up around your place now?
Nighttime she loves to she chooses where to sleep, and nighttime she loves to sleep outside. Actually, because that's funny, I just said before she's almost always inside, but strangely enough, nighttime, as long as it's warm enough, she'll usually go and sleep on a bed outside. That's about the only time she does go outside, and we can't work it out. Very odd. We kind of think she might be like guarding the property or something. The rest of the time, not one particular spot. She loves to lie in her crate, loves to lie on our bed or around our bed. None of my dogs really have a favourite spot. They really just like to be near us. So I'm sitting at a desk at the moment and she's just lying quite close to me. They don't really seem to have a particular spot.
What about some favourite toys? What does Dolly like to play with?
Dolly loves balls. We have she doesn't necessarily bring them back to us, but she loves chasing them. We have a ball machine that shoots out balls. It fits lots and lots of balls in it, and the idea is that the dog catches the ball and brings it back and drops it in the back in the bucket to shoot them out again. She's never done that. She now stands so close to it that as the ball shoots out, it shoots straight into her mouth. She's kind of futile. Sometimes she even takes the balls out of the shooting part before they even shoot. But she goes crazy for that toy, as does one of our other dogs. And she just loves chasing balls. She likes soft toys too, but mostly she likes balls and squeaky toys. And her favourite time to squeak a squeaky toy is while we're watching TV. She
got a favourite spot outside the house? Favour anything in particular? A walk that she prefers to go on?
She loves to go down to the beach and swim. And one of my motivating factors to move to the Central Coast, I love the beach. I don't swim, but I love to walk along the beach. And the dogs love the beach. And we used to go to Culburra and book a holiday home each year. So when we were in the position to move somewhere else, we said, let's move to the beach, because years ago we lived by Cronulla. So we just kind of stumbled up on this place, and usually we live in Batteau Bay, which is just a 5-minute drive to Shelley Beach. Currently we're living in Long Jetty, and we're about a 10-minute walk to Shelley Beach, which is pretty awesome. And Dolly just loves the beach so much. As I said before, she swims really, really well. And she likes any walks. She doesn't care if we walk around the block. She likes walking up to Long Jetty, actually, and walking along the path there. But the beach is definitely her favourite. She loves running on the sand. She loves running into the water, and you can tell her go swim and point to the water, and she'll run in and swim. She loves chasing a ball around the sand, so that's definitely number one for her.
So did she had any sort of formal training, or did you guys do all that sort of stuff?
She's had lots of training. I don't know how much has helped her. I mean, you've seen her walking. We've kind of... I'm a pretty relaxed dog owner. I don't expect my dogs to be perfect. It would be good if she could walk a bit better, but we've done a lot of training with her, and she'll be perfect at training. But then she comes home, and whether it's because we don't follow through or we've just given up. Dolly does pirouettes when she walks, and we've had friends video it, and it's hilarious, but we just think, well, this is Dolly. She's nearly 9. She's not changing anytime soon. But she's quite good with doing tricks. So we've taught her lots of tricks, and that's fun. And she still goes to training. She goes up to Animal Talent with Louise Harding, and she doesn't really need the training, but she loves it. It's stimulation, right? She just loves going. For her, it's just a big game. And she does a little bit of agility up there, and she just enjoys it. She likes bossing the other dogs and telling them off if they get out of line, and it's just fun and stimulation for her, which is pretty much why we still do it. We'll do it for a while, then have a break, then do it for a while, then have a break. But we don't take it too seriously. We did a lot when she was younger, when we first got her, which more helped us as dog owners because her being our first dog. But we enjoy it, really, and she enjoys it too. I think it's good to constantly do refreshers, even if you kind of feel like you know the basics, just as good rebonding with your dog.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So has Dolly got any weird sort of habits that you...
Where do you want me to start? Well, there's a couple. She unfortunately eats poop, and we've heard many different theories on, they're missing something in their diet or this or that or the other. Dolly has a great diet. She's a great weight. We don't believe it's that. We've heard that a lot of Labradors eat poop, and it's just a lab thing. And we've tried all sorts of things, and nothing helps. Of course, we scoop up all the poop as often as we can, but with 3 dogs, we just don't get it up fast enough. And she will literally, if we see her doing it and yell at her, and I can yell quite loud, she will actually gulp it faster. So she's fully aware of what she is doing and that she's not allowed to do it. And the other thing is, and I'm sorry if this makes people squeamish, we have 1 cat and 3 dogs, and it is all on rule for who gets to the cat poop first. So our cat can't leave our property. She can't climb fences, but she can wander around the backyard. We're very lucky like that. She's never climbed. So wherever we've lived, she's never left the backyard. But she will go out and poop somewhere on the lawn, and they will literally, all 3 of them will eat cat poop, but only Dolly eats dog poop. They will literally be eating it as it comes out of her. It's so distressing for her. I feel so sorry for her. So that's the poop thing. And Dolly's other habit, which is a problem with all of them, but including Dolly, is she decides very early in the morning that it's feed time. That's about, at the moment, about 3:30, 4 in the morning. And this has been going on for years, and we try so hard to change their habit and put it off, and she's probably mostly the instigator. Actually, usually it's about 4:35. This morning it was about 3. And so she got in lots of trouble, and in the end she knew she wasn't allowed to bark or disturb us anymore, and she actually got put in her crate. So in the end, for about an hour, we just listened to her going, "Ruff, ruff, ruff," because she knew she wasn't really allowed to bark, so she was just trying to bark really quietly. So that's another habit of hers. When she knows she's not allowed to bark, is she will bark very quietly. It's like she's trying to pretend it's not her. I have no idea. So she's in trouble today. We're all a bit tired.
The other question I sort of will be asking everyone, and you may have already answered it, that it's I can't believe my dog eats.
Yeah, food. To be honest, she will eat anything. It's anything she can. She's got a constant food drive. She has, my dogs all have a crate each, and they have a mattress in their crate. And doesn't happen so much now, but when she was younger, I used to put videos and photos up on Facebook. When we changed, each Saturday, I would, when I worked full time, I would pull the sheets off their mattress and pull their mattress out and change the sheet. And every time I pulled her mattress out, underneath would be a variety of things that she'd collected during the week. Empty, small cat food cans, packets of food she'd stolen out of the bin, all sorts of things. And we didn't even know how she got to them, but she would collect them during the week and store them, like eat the contents or whatever and store them under her mattress. It was like taking them to her cave and storing them under her mattress. She's very smart, and she will try to hide the evidence, but she can't always. We came home one day and she had got into, you can get the soup mix packets like cup of soup.
Mm-hmm.
She would taken one of the other dogs out and not her, and that particular day she wasn't happy about it. So she got into some soup mix packets, and we got home and there was a trail of soup mix all the way to her crate, and the packet was under her crate. So sometimes you'll be eating a sandwich and you'll be, where's that sandwich? I'm sure I had a sandwich. And there's absolutely no evidence of it. And Dolly doesn't even look guilty, but you might just see her do something like lick the side of her mouth and you realise she ate it. If you leave an apple on the bench, it's gone. But she shows no evidence of it. I put my son's dinner on the bench once when he was quite little, and I said, your dinner's on the bench. It was spaghetti bolognese. And he went to get his dinner and he said, my dinner's not here. And I said, yes, it is. It's on the bench. And he said, there's only a plate. And there was no dinner on his plate and no sign that there had ever been dinner on his plate. But Dolly was licking her mouth. And she's so sneaky. So we had set up video at one stage and like set her up for it. And it's amazing how quick she is. So she has never changed with this. She has eaten so many things. And she's had to go to the vets twice actually because of things she's eaten. I mean, we try and be very careful, but she's so sneaky. That's Labrador for you.
Thank you very, very much for joining me today in a celebration of Dolly's life. So I'm sure there's probably a few things there. Other lab owners will be saying, yep. Guess we're going to call that it if that's all right. Is there anything else that you can sort of think of that you would like to share?
No, it's been fun talking and remembering how much trouble she is. So lucky I love her.
Did you want to give the doggy dates a little plug on here?
Sure. If you have a dog or dogs, or you just like dogs, you don't even have to have a dog, and you would like to join us once coronavirus is over on our free and friendly dog walking group, look us up on Facebook, Doggy Dates New South Wales, or we have Central Coast Doggy Dates, or the Hills District and Surrounds Doggy Dates, or Newcastle Doggy Dates, or did I say? Oh, and Campbelltown Camden Doggy Dates. We're also on Instagram, Doggy Dates New South Wales, and we're on the internet, doggydatesnewsouthwales.com.au. You can still join up at the moment. We still have things happening. We're posting up photos of our dogs, having chats, all of that kind of stuff, and we're really looking forward to getting back into it. So feel free to have a look at that as well. Something to do while all you dog owners are stuck at home not doing much.
Thank you very much again. I'm sure you get a few people interested in that.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Relaxed Dog Podcast. It'd be really appreciated if you like, share, subscribe, etc., etc. If you want to ask a question, probably the easiest thing to do is jump on the Facebook page, the Relaxed Dog Podcast. Also, if you are that way inclined, you can always check out therelaxeddog.com for some of my other stuff. Until next time, thank you. And remember, your dog is family.